All right, this is chapter 8, and we're talking about dynamic stability. A lot of things in this chapter is pretty much what you should have covered in your Master 24. So it's kind of just a rehash, and it's probably worth just having a little look at the stability book just to go over the things that I haven't quite covered in this presentation. But it is pretty much common sense. So I've already dealt with the stability of a vessel in still water. The study of a still water stability provides the basis of predicting the vessel's behaviour in the dynamic environment of it at sea. The stability of the vessel, as calculated for still water, must be adequate to cope for the forces experienced at sea. So we have a few different types of vessels. We have a stiff vessel, and that is a vessel that has a low centre of gravity, a large GM and riding lever, and a large area under the GZ curve. So you can see by those two GZ curves, one on the left is the stiff one, the large angle, lots of big GMs under the curve, or GZs, and the other one is a less steep, so a tender vessel. So a stiff vessel resists the tendency to heel, and when it rolls quickly and sometimes violently. It's undesirable to have a very stiff vessel. So yachts are very stiff. If they don't have sails up, they can be very uncomfortable to be in a seaway, just because of all that weight down low in the keel. They tend to be come up to the upright very quickly and sometimes violently. Hence, they're a lot better when the sails are up. So a tender vessel has a high centre of gravity. It has a small GM in the riding levers, and the area under the GZ curve and the range of stability can be small. A tender vessel usually rolls gently and to large angles of heel, and when the vessel rolls, it tends to return sluggishly to the upright position. So tender vessels. All right, so there's a vessel that's tender, not much fun to be on. So there we go, tender vessels has a high centre of gravity, a small GM and riding levers in the area under the GZ curve, and the range of stability can be quite small. So have a go at that activity 8.1. Rolling. All vessels roll in a seaway. The time taken for one complete roll is known as the roll period of a vessel. In other words, starting from the upright position, the time taken by a vessel to roll to one side, through the upright, and to the other side, and back to the upright position again. The roll period of a vessel is affected by two factors: the GM of the vessel and the distributions of weights. A vessel with a large GM has a shorter rolling period, and a vessel with a small GM has a longer roll period. So we can obtain GM from a rolling period. Now there is a video that I'll provide that shows about stability, and they do a roll test on there. So it's quite an old kind of video, but it does demonstrate what they're doing there. So the approximate GSM of a vessel can be obtained by conducting a simple roll test. An approximate value of GM can be found from the following formula. GM equals, in brackets, 0.8 times by breadth, times by the time. And so there's some factors there. And in your learner guide, it has some calculations or some exercises to do there. Using those factors, you'll find that what the roll period is. And the answers are in the back of the book and they are correct. God, I never think I've done this before. All right, so that vessel was on the coast of Australia, and that vessel was in an annual lull, so a little bit different to what we're talking about. But you can see that rolling around there. So there's those questions in regards to the roll period and working it out. And like I said, the answers to those in the back. Use those factors that are in that previous page or in your learner's guide to work out the roll period. Synchronous roll period is a situation that can occur on a ship when the period of the sea is equal or even or at even multiples of the ship's natural rolling period. This can cause a ship to begin rolling heavily in a few short cycles of the sea period and can lead to a capsizing situation. If you find that the vessel is developing synchronous rolling, you must immediately change the frequency at which the vessel is meeting the waves. This can be done by altering the course or speed, although a change in course will produce a more immediate effect. All right, so sudden or constant loads. A vessel at sea can experience heel due to a sudden or constant load. Examples include the wind pressure on the hull, the snag nets of a trawler, and the load of a cod end on a fishing vessel. These loads produce heeling moments, which can be converted to the heeling levers by dividing the moments by the displacement of the vessel, and the effect of these loads on stability can be considered by plotting a heeling lever on the same axis or the riding lever. So there we go, there's a heeling lever on a GZ curve, and you can see that the area under here is our lost stability because we're on a heel. And we did speak about that earlier on when we spoke about a list or a heeling lever. So this is the same again. So a constant heel, we're obviously losing that degree of stability. So have a go at that activity 8.4. Capsizing. A small undamaged vessel can capsize due to the action of the wind and waves, and two situations are particularly dangerous: a beam on sea and a following sea. So a beam sea, there are three main causes of capsizing in a beam sea: excessive rolling, usually associated with synchronous rolling, shipping water on deck, and being overwhelmed by a large wave. Synchronous rolling usually occurs as a problem of a vessel that's too stiff, and vessels with low freeboard may ship large amounts of water, and if the freeports are blocked, the added weight and the free surface effect of water on the deck may be sufficient to capsize the vessel. So there's a GZ curve of a lifeboat in the UN's, the RN type ones, and you can see that it's got a positive buoyancy, so it keeps returning to the upright as it's tipped over. So the other one is a beam on sea. Small vessels are also under the danger of capsizing by being overwhelmed by a large wave. A large breaking wave occurs just at the right position relative to the vessel, can push it sideways, causing it to capsize. And there's lots of things on YouTube watching vessels capsize. And I'm sure you've seen some of those. Following sea, a vessel can capsize in a following sea due to two reasons: pure loss of stability due to the wave pooping on the back deck, and broaching. So pure loss of stability occurs when the wave causes the waterline to vary its position on the vessel. If the wave creates a waterline, the vessel will suffer a great loss in stability. With a wave crest midships, the vessel has a higher midships and lower at the ends. This creates two undesirable effects. The crest midship may deposit water on the deck, with the resulting problem of adding weight and free surface effect. And again, lots of things on YouTube of people getting into bad situations with that happening. There's another exercise activity there. Broaching: when a vessel is surged on the face of a steep wave at approximately the speed of a wave, the rudder becomes ineffective. The vessel may yaw violently and go beam onto the wave, and this action may result in a large heel angle that may be enough to capsize the vessel. Water on deck: if the vessel ships water on the deck at sea, the effect is threefold. Weight is added up high, reducing stability. The free surface effect of the water will further reduce stability, and the addition of extra weight will reduce the freeboard. Never allow water to accumulate on the deck. Keep the freeing ports and scuppers free at all times to clear the water rapidly from the deck, and all watertight fittings on the deck should be closed to prevent downflowing. Always important thing to think about when you're doing your orals is when they talk about leave your freeing ports open and your scuppers not blocked, all those things that to do with accumulation of water on the upper decks and free surface effect from having all those things blocked. So that's a quick one. There's the progress check. Have a go at that one.